Oh man, ezulwini ngumthunzi kanamba lowo besama ke ukhupha ubhutiza uPatco kaMafani ehamba naye ke uMr Mandla Nhlanganiso osuka pha kwaBoxing South Africa. Ibingabo ke besikwazile ubatsala ngebhatyi ngalomzuzu baphawule ngokushiywa kwethu ke nguye utata udumile ke kaMatheza pheshiya phaya. Now ndisho ke nathi siguqula ikhasi sincokola naye ke #AskRwanda Rwanda kamkhatshana somachiza wethu esibanaye apha somachiza uwile umthi omkhulu nje gqabagqaba singekangeni kule sawuthetha ngayo. Ndiyacinga uba nawe noko ukhule ukumamela lo tata 62-year-old eyaziwayo kwezo sasazo singekangeni nje kulo mcimbi wanamhlanje.
I think wonke umuntu olinganisa umsasazi namhlanje ulinganisa utata udumile.
Oh man,
you know, noba ungubani na on radio une picture uba umuntu osasazayo. So I think that's the influence
sure
awayenayo or the impact of footprint, if ever you wanted to measure it. I think leyo it just puts things into perspective.
Yeah,
that if Gela Clash will not attach just a young boy in Rwanda, you will start
phaya uthi pheshe apha ungabi oh man. Yeah, but ke silapha ngoku #AskRwanda sincokola ngevaginal thrush is ekwakurhawuzelelana nayo yonke laa nto yenzekayo phaa kulaa matshini. Yazi uThixo uyadala.
Yeah, so we want today. So anyway, good morning.
Good morning. Hey.
Good morning to the viewers. Good morning to the listeners.
Yes.
Ndifuna nje ukucacisa le nto kubana what is this thing of a fungal infection? What is a yeast infection? And then ke ngoku singathetha ngento yobana can I use
into ethile
for this thing? Because then I actually first need to understand by intoni yenziwa intoni, and then I understand by intoni yogurt. And then I start making my own decision ke ngoku uba unyanisile na utshomo wam xa sithi mandenze le nto.
Okay.
Okanye mna am I doing a good thing if I carry on
disebenzisa
ngolu hlobo? Yeah. So there's many kinds of fungus, but now ngoku bendifuna nje focus on just into city candida.
Okay.
A candida is a species, and then you have ke ngoku different strains. Ngiyithanda ngokubula iCovid incede kakhulu.
Kulula ucacisa le nto.
The strains, they're variants.
Yes.
So ikhona into ekuthiwa candida albicans. If you swab umlomo kaLwanda, umlomo kaSisilozi, umlomo kabani, you will find this thing. It is almost always there, naturally occurring apha kuthi emlonyeni. Yes.
So it's something that you can get.
It's just always
anyway.
It's just there.
I grew up in a very deep rural area, where you will see kids with purple ointment around, around the mouth. Is that candida?
So iyakwazi ukubana this thing ikhule more than it is supposed to.
Okay.
So sithe or naturally uzayifumana emlonyeni. Ingenzi isigulo. Naturally uzayifumana kusisi abantu mama.
All right.
And it's just there and ayigulisi.
Okay.
Kodwa kuyenzeka because lo muntu malnourished, kuyenzeka because lo muntu has asthma and is using a prednisone pump.
Sure.
Ngenxa yala prednisone ihlalayo apha emlonyeni. The candida grows more than it is supposed to. Kukho izizathu ngezizathu. Sometimes siyayibona nakubantu abaneswekile. If then that happens, you get this oral thrush.
Okay.
Siyayibona kakhulu phaya ebantwaneni umntana olwimeli has a white coat.
Sure.
Ekufuneka umsebenzise into ekuthiwa yi-Nistasid.
Okay.
That is going to kill la candida albicans leyani phayana.
Okay, so it's a bacteria that is there, fungus. Ifanele uba ikhona, or there's a good one or a bad one.
Ikhona, kodwa asifuni uba mayikhona.
We have non-Xhosa speaking viewers. If you can kekelela kwelo cala.
Okay. So we don't want it to grow more than it is supposed to.
Okay.
The body sort of.
So it is normal. Ifanele ibe khona.
It's there normally.
Sure.
But let's say in terms of population, every microorganism that is in your mouth has a shareholding of about 10%.
Okay.
Now you don't want a monopoly where another one now takes over 50% of the share.
Sure.
That is what happens when you get that thrush.
Okay.
Now, as soon as you open your mouth, everyone can see this white coat. You can see it at the back of your throat. you start having it looks like dysphagia or painful swallowing. Naxa nesitya lo muntu uyathunakala on the tongue, it gets painful. So that's what we are talking about, because now it has grown more than what it was supposed to.
Okay, and the vaginal one, it is quite common with pregnant ladies, and you find that it gives problem couples where we think umuntu once ahawuzelelwe, then there's unenyawo lwemfene.
Yes. So again, we keep calling it a yeast infection, whereas it is not, because it's not introduced by someone else.
Okay.
You could have your wife, girlfriend, that was on antibiotics.
Sure.
So these antibiotics don't choose what they kill, at times. So they can kill. They can be there. You have a chest infection.
Sure.
You're given penicillin. It's supposed to cure the chest
pain.
But then when it gets to your tummy, it starts killing your normal flora there, or your normal bacteria that is supposed to be there. And then you get diarrhea, because now those bacteria that were in your tummy were supposed to help you digest food, but this antibiotic is killing them.
Yeah.
And now you start having a diarrhea as a side effect.
Sure.
Also, because that antibiotic lives through your urine, it then starts killing some of the bacteria that were keeping this candida in check, and now it starts to grow more than it was supposed to, and you start to itch and get this discomfort. So you would have seen that when the doctor gives you the antibiotic, they also give you something called the probiotic. You take the antibiotic now, after 2 hours, you take the probiotic, so that you replace what the antibiotic has killed. If also at night, take the antibiotic, 2 hours later, take the probiotic. Also, they might give you fluconazole if you are susceptible to having vaginal thrush after taking antibiotics. They say, no, just take this one capsule and it will sort you out afterwards.
Okay. Well, it's 8:44 kwi-social crossover sixoxa no #AskRwanda. But masize kwezi myth, masize kwezi zinto, i-yogurt idibana phi i-yogurt, plain yogurt, the Greek yogurt with vaginal thrush, and everyone will xela ba hayi ithambise iqabe and irayithi xa ibanda. All those things zivela phi?
Because yogurt does have some probiotic in it. It does have some probiotics, but sometimes
are they enough?
It is an oversell, right? Because just because it does have it doesn't mean it has the right amount, and it doesn't mean it has the right ones. So we spoke about different strains. Yes, the yogurt has probiotics, but which ones does it have? Because we know now we are always interested in the lactobacillus, and the lactobacillus has 2 different strains. If you take one pill, a probiotic pill, it can easily have 1 billion, we call them CFUs, coliform forming units, of bacteria, lactobacillus. To have the same amount in yogurt, you might have 25 liters, maybe 5 kgs of yogurt. I'm making an example.
Sure.
Right? People have started to make examples of this thing, but then you find that now this person has to take the yogurt every day for 3 times a day just to get to those adequate amounts. Whereas if you are just using a probiotic pill, then it is that simple. Also, there's the assumption that because it's yogurt, these probiotic strains are live. But what do we know? We know that there's a process called pasteurization with milk. So this is also done. Sterilization and pasteurization is also done with yogurt. So even if at the start you would have had these probiotics, by the time they finish, they're not there because they've been killed by these processes. There's also something called start culture in the manufacturing process of yogurt. So depending on what kind of culture they use, where I'm going with this is that there's no standardization in the food industry. Because they are not making a medicine. They are making food. So one company is not making the yogurt the exact same way. Another company is making it, right? But then when we make medicine, we start to have a SOP. We say, this is how you are going to make this probiotic. This is how you're going to make this antibiotic. This is how you're going to make this pain tablet. So that it doesn't matter who the manufacturer is.
Yes.
You are getting the same thing.
Okay. So into esizicabayo, into esizi we once discussed into ethi you know nje ilungu langasese lomuntu ongumama, it is a self-cleaning machine. And once you start experiencing ezo zinto ezidibene ne thrush, that you know it's so uncomfortable, and abantu bazawufaka izitene eziluhlaza because it's irritating, it's so uncomfortable. So uthini kubantu abafaka izinto? There's this apha kwi-COVID bekho kwakho into busy talking about into yeyoni steaming, abantu bebestima kule lockdown, abantu bebefaka izinto bebedutsha bebesithini. Uthini kuloo nto?
That is a challenge in itself, but the bigger challenge is that they are marketed to people that are healthy.
Okay.
So you always find that there's someone who has no issues.
Ayoyithatha because kuthiwa
I want to then start steaming on a weekly or on a daily or whatever the process is, right? Because they said yogurt is good. I have no symptoms, I have nothing, but I'm going to start applying now this yogurt on a daily basis. You know, maybe I want to understand someone who says, hey, I've got thrush, then I want to start using this yogurt. It is your choice. You know, I'm not here to say I can't control that, but I really want to discourage this daily use of these things of people who have absolutely no symptoms. And to those that do have symptoms, they must also realize that it is a disease condition.
Sure.
So at times it's going to need you to actually approach a doctor and get the adequate treatment. We are now also seeing a resistant kind of candida. So we said, yes, 70-80% of cases, it's the simple one where you go to the pharmacy and just get an over-the-counter clotrimazole cream. But sometimes it's not that simple. Sometimes the person starts saying, hey, I'm getting this thing every month now.
Okay.
Also, we see with people who are on oral contraceptives, they will sort of get this discharge.
Sure.
But now we get the resistant one. They're using these creams over the counter, but it's not going away. Then, yes, you really need to start seeing your doctor and then get some prescription.
Otherwise, if awunanto, selamanzi njengesiqhelo utheni ungabuzifaka, because khona abantu apha kwipesi yakhe there's wipes nje etshatshalazini zonke ezazinto ufumanisa uba for hygiene purposes, and abantu bayasheva and yonke laa nto leyo. So uthini ndizokuyeka, I'm looking at the time.
Okay. Ukusheva isikakhulu. So clean shaving will predispose you to having vaginal thrush.
Okay.
Once you clean shave, there needs to be some hair around the mouth.
Okay.
You must not. I mean,
so cheese gob. Mayingabi na cheese gob because obaboya bunomsebenzi wabo. Bunendima ebuyidlalayo, more like if ube unabo apha ezimpumlweni, so ublock idust, so unaphaya kunomsebenzi wabo. So uyibethe inqayi, uyibethe i-cheese gob, ungayenza mhlawumbi icut ucheba amacala, but avoid ukushave around the mouth of a vagina.
Correct.
Okay.
Also, I wanted to say, you know, because people are now saying, I have this challenge, I have the burning urine, I've got the discharge, I've got this. The doctor did a pap smear, I've been testing for syphilis, and right? So, a pap smear has nothing to do with having an STI.
Okay.
A pap smear is to screen for cancer. To screen for cancer. So it checks precancerous cells and cancerous cells. And we do encourage any woman over 20 that is sexually active to do a pap smear at least every 3, 5, or 10 years, depending on the number of partners you have and that sort of thing, so that we can detect a cancer earlier. Okay. So that's just one thing. You don't say,
I did the pap smear, so okay.
Now I don't understand what is this. No, the pap smear is just testing for cancer.
Okay.
And then there's a wide range then of STIs.
Okay. Ndizokuyeka uthini kodwa abacinga ba ipartner yakhe xa inecandida iyarhaqaza.
Ayirhaqaza. Makayazi into yobana i-candida is it's not an infection because it is introduced by someone else. It's an imbalance eyenzekayo in the mouth or in the vagina. Nabo tata bayakwazi ukurhazelelwa in the pubic region. Aqala ubona into ngathi zizilonda okanye zifuna ngathi zisichambuba. And then they can also use these fungal creams.
So ayinanto kwenza norhaqaza, ayinanto kwenza isinento kwenza ethi kanti umuntu unxiba impahla ezincinci, underwear encinci, usebenza tshintshe isepha, njalo 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 njalo
Because you're going to find these things in the dark and moist places. So under the breast, in the pubic region, in the armpits, emlonyeni, emqaleni, and also with folds of the skin.
Umakhulu wakhe wathi ke yayingeyompazamo into yoba umuntu ongumama anxibe ilokhwe, kwakufanele babe kanti unxiba ilokhwe akanxiba ibhlukhwe because kukho indawo kufuneka ibihle nje ibethwa ngumoya. Uzayivala nje ngolo hlobo. Thank you so much, Somachiza. Ufumaneka phi?
I am available on all social media platforms at Ask Lwanda, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Ask Lwanda.
So girls, it is a self-cleaning machine. Yeah, kumachini uyakwazi uzicleana ngokuncedisa nje ngosela amanzi nokuhlamba ngamanzi aclean ungafaki isepha. Otherwise la machini uright. Uyakwazi uzicofa ngokwawo uba mawuthi unless unengxaki, unless kukho ivumba, unless kukho into ozibonayo ezingaqhelekanga, right? Then dibana nosomachiza wakho.
100%.
Ndikuvile Somachiza, until next time.
Thank you so much.
Ndiyabulela. Alright, uLwanda kamkhatshane apho sizamkhupha ke naye ngengoma bekukuhle bekunje nama sisendivalelisa tyhini limkile lendishiyile bekukuhle kakhulu baphthunane uba sihlale sonke usukela pha ngentsimbi yesithandathu sonqandwa ke intsimbi yesithoba le siyibetha ibethayo ngoku igama lam ndinguNolo wakwavitsha ndingumzukulwana phaa kutamkhulu Machule nomakhonokhwezi Babes Radio, Babes Wireless, Babes Mathotsholo urarhadi westishu udadobawo, the only radio station ke enodadobawo apha emhlabeni. Andifuna uthi eSouth Africa iKeith Ngesi Radio, doing radio ke according to nangale nyanga intsha inyanga ke yothando. Ndisivile ke isikhalo sabantu abathi Lhoza i-mental health, and I promise noba zakhe simane ke ezi topic singayeki ukuthetha ngazo unyaka throughout the year sithetha ke discussing umcimbi we-mental health because clearly isengumcelimngeni esijongene nawo. Masibane ngomso ke bethunani yeah, same time, same website, www.keithngesiradio.com. Coming up is Lungelo Kanzama, ephathele yena i-moment of truth. Naye xa igqiba uyawunikezela phaa Amanda aphiwe kadziba aphathele naye invasion. Otherwise ngoku kuba nje sishiywe ngutata uDumile Matheza umasishiyeke ne-Israel and New Breed esithi Alpha and Omega. Have a blessed day. Good morning.